Growing up as a boy can be confusing sometimes. Society's messaging about what you're expected to become is often unclear and can feel contradictory. Don't be a creep misogynist incel who complains about not having women, but don't be a virgin loser who's never touched a woman, but don't be one of those aggressive flirts who ignores boundaries, but don't be one of those crybabies going on and on about your precious little feelings, but don't be an emotionless robot who only gives one-word responses, but don't be one of those insecure defensive guys that think a pink shirt is gonna turn them gay, but don't actually be gay. Don't be please don't be gay. Growing up is a process of figuring out which of those messages are worth listening to and which ones you probably shouldn't give the time of day. But in the face of overwhelming don't, a lot of boys might just throw up their hands, and they might shut themselves off. They might hide in the corner, harmlessly trying to engage in their special interests and avoid any more negativity or expectations being placed on them. Dandadan is a series that says, "Hey you weakling, cut that out! Go out there and be a man." But how? I only know what not to do. What kind of man am I supposed to be? And the wise dandadan simply smiles and says, "Shut the f*** up and run or we're gonna die." Hi, my name's Maru. Welcome to the channel. Before we get any deeper into this discussion of masculinity, I feel like it's worth mentioning that I am a trans woman. While I was raised as a boy, I'm not a man, and there are some aspects of masculinity that I'll never fully understand. While you were playing Call of Duty, I was trying to figure out who A from Pretty Little Liars was through Wikipedia episode summaries. I wasn't allowed to watch the show, it was too gay. So while admittedly I don't understand the desire to become more masculine, I do understand Okarun. He's a refreshing take on the stereotypical male lead of an anime. While he is the poor little shy kid sitting in the back of the class that nobody understands, he's not like the other boys. He's sweet, empathetic, and a good listener. While he may lack certain social graces and tend to overthink things, unlike the cynical, victim complex-ridden protagonists of so many other shows, he reminds me of so many good-hearted boys that I knew growing up. Now, Okarun's not necessarily unique in this role, so let's talk about what really sets him apart. Castration! Mutilation, domination, and oxygen deprivation. Rather than any external change, a chance meeting, suddenly gaining superpowers, the world shifting in a way that makes his pre-existing skill set useful, or even just pure and simple training, Okarun's introduction to becoming a shonen protagonist is characterized by weakness and dependency. He loses not only his genitals, but his agency, and is basically victimized by a creepy old bridge lady. Not only does he need Momo to rescue him, he now requires her presence at all times just to maintain control. As freaking hilarious as I'm being right now, I'm not saying that it's good that any of these things happen to him, but it's in this state that his true strength as a man is able to shine through. Okarun is okay with vulnerability. Placed in a comically emasculating circumstance, he doesn't break down. Now that's a Giga Chad. I also love that while his circumstances might be the source of jokes, none of the other characters nor the narrative ever shame him for his circumstances. We're never made to feel that Okarun is a flawed person because of things that happened outside of his control. He was a damsel in distress, and that's okay. Speaking of Giga Chads, let's talk about Momo. Momo is a hero from the moment we meet her. She has a strong sense of justice, is an experienced fighter, and shows bravery by putting her values into practice rather than just sitting on the sidelines. Not only is she a great hero, but she also just does whatever she wants. She wears what she wants, she does whatever she feels like, she actively pursues the guys that she's interested in, she's unapologetically herself. She's not perfect, she struggles with vulnerability and with making assumptions, but she honestly serves as a pretty good role model for men who are trying to become more masculine. And she's definitely a role model for Okarun as well, because it's that last part, doing whatever you want, that Okarun and a lot of men like him really struggle with. Okarun's fatal flaw is analysis paralysis. He's skilled at talking himself out of the things that he wants to do, whether he feels undeserving or that things just won't go his way. He follows rules and guidelines to a T, and is desperately in search of some sort of mold or structure that he can fit himself into. When Seiko tells him to do strength training, he does strength training. When Momo tells him he needs to learn how to punch and kick, he learns how to punch and kick. And while that self-improvement is great and all, it doesn't make him a man. Now here's where we have to be careful, because this is the part where the black venom takes over a lot of men and they become misogynists. I listened to what people told me, I took everyone's advice, I did everything right, and I still don't feel fulfilled. I still don't feel like a man. So here's the truth. Becoming yourself is a unique act of creation. This is what's so beautiful about Okarun's superpowers. His real curse had nothing to do with losing his balls, because he never had those to begin with. Okarun is perfect for the man in the van role, yet he's cursed to go berserk in the center of the fray. Through dandadan's narrative, he's forced again and again out of his comfort zone, and miraculously, he starts to grow. While he still seeks out the advice of others, it's ultimately just doing the damn thing that teaches him so much and is the catalyst for his change. Even if his first attempts to do the damn thing are cringe and edgy. Emo Okarun was the moment that this series truly won me over. I was like, you guys get it, you understand. It turns out that while Okarun is okay with being seen as weak, being seen as strong comes with its own set of baggage. This is new ground for him, so he does what a lot of teenage boys do. While his "I'm so depressed, I wanna die" shtick might seem kind of random, it's a deliberate wall designed to keep him safe. He may have all of a sudden become a cool, badass superhero, but he disavows all that. He copes with his crushing fear of failure through pessimism, insisting that he can't do it so that when he doesn't, no one's disappointed. Side note, his whole thing where he says that he can only go all out 3 times is really funny to me. Like, he was the one who introduced this idea and the other characters just seem to accept it. My personal headcanon is that he completely invented this limitation. It seems like we're supposed to take it seriously, it's just really funny to interpret his character this way. But we're starting to see this negative attitude change, and anger might be the key. Okarun standing up to this jagoff spreading misogynist rumors is the first cool and truly masculine thing we see him do in the series. Channeling his anger and rage has started to become his default when he enters battle, and he's become a much better fighter because of it. While he still seems to mostly get angry on behalf of others, it's still a genuinely felt emotion, and thus is a really good start. He's no longer simply doing what he's told. He genuinely wants to crush this guy, which is why this moment is so effective. Being a protector is cool and all, but if that's all you are, then you're gonna get stuck in the friend zone. It's not enough to just fight for others, you have to fight for yourself. You have to decide that you, who you are, is worth standing up for, worth investing in. No amount of advice or assistance is going to make your legs move. The only way that you're going to cross that finish line is, you guessed it, run. What's so beautiful about Paragon of Masculinity Taro, and the reason why I think he was so moving to Okarun, is he was willing to take the L. And this is where I'm hoping young men are really paying attention, because it's so easy to miss when you're focused on external gratification. If all you pay attention to is results, you're just gonna look at Taro and Okarun, see the fact that they get the girls, and think, I'm a nice guy too, why won't a bossy tsundere take a chance on me? But Taro knew that Hana might not feel the same way about him, that he might have risked his life running across the city for nothing. But despite all this, he had to try. And if he failed, there were no caveats. Nothing to hide behind, no way to save face, no way to pretend that he didn't care. This is not shooting your shot over Instagram so that you have an online buffer against vulnerability. This is not dropping a love confession on someone you barely know so that you can save the getting to know them phase for after you've determined whether or not you're going to get something you want out of them. This is not, haha, you were ugly anyway after you get rejected. This is the power of doing what you want to, not what you feel like you have to. Going after things because you desire them genuinely, not petulantly demanding them because you feel entitled to them. This is figuring yourself out rather than trying to fit into a mold. This is shutting out all of those expectations and accepting yourself for who you are. Accept the self that is weak and honor the self that wants to be strong. Accept the self that doesn't have a banana and honor the self that wants to have a banana. Accept the self that is hurt and honor the self that wants to heal. This is running, not knowing where, not knowing why. Just knowing it's the only way forward to becoming. This is enough to be a man. Okay, thanks for watching. A couple of clarifications. You can be weak and a failure and a loser and a misogynist, and you're still a man. Just like I think that your identity as a man shouldn't be contingent on material things, I also don't think it should be dependent on your own self-improvement or self-growth. I don't think of Okarun as less of a man no matter what stage of his character arc that he's in. And while some characters occasionally espouse that harmful rhetoric that manhood needs to be earned, I ultimately feel that the series doesn't shame or judge him no matter where he is on his journey. The other thing that I want to double underline is that you don't have to be a man to learn something from Okarun. Being yourself doesn't make you a man, it makes you yourself. Like I said earlier, Mamo embodies all of these traits, and she's still unapologetically a girl. My goal is ultimately to present an image of positive masculinity, and hoping that young men will relate to and ultimately be inspired by Okarun, as opposed to, I don't know, like Sword Art Online guy, or the Joker. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. This is still a new channel, so leaving me a like or pressing the subscribe button would definitely go a long way. If you want more of my thoughts about dandadan, check out this video I made about Chi-Chi, or listen to the Nobody Leaves podcast. We've already covered Season 1, and Season 2 will be out as soon as the new episodes are done with. I have at least one more dandadan video planned, but I also plan on covering all sorts of other animated series on this channel, so stick around if you're interested. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave me a demon face in the comments and let me know if you've ever tripped and fallen on the way to achieving your goals. Remember ladies, we all deserve grace.